So I've been doing Shopify dropshipping for the last 4 years. I started my journey back in 2017.
Just 21 years old, Camille is already worth over £3 million. He has multiple business concerns, but the most lucrative is his drop shipping business.
Dropshipping is where you list a product on your website, and when somebody orders it, you go to the supplier and they ship it directly to the customer and you never see the product.
And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my journey and my experience within this industry to let you guys know, for those that are beginners or somebody that's just come across dropshipping, because I'm sure you've seen those Facebook ads or those YouTube ads, or you've seen those flashy screenshots. You're probably thinking that this is an amazing business model to start and you can get rich within a couple of days, a couple of months, maybe a year. So what I'm going to be doing in today's video is I'm going to be giving you guys the actual real reality of being a Shopify dropshipping business owner. And I've been in the game almost 5 years, which means I've been here for the face of time, meaning that most people that start a business or businesses fail within their first 5 years. I've survived that and I've achieved some amazing results, and my results have been documented and I've been acknowledged for them, and I've been putting all my screenshots and proof over on the screen.
21. Camille Sitar's dropshipping sales topped $1.7 million in 2020.
So at least you guys know that you're listening to somebody that's achieved some very good results, been acknowledged for those results, and has been in the game for long enough to know that is it dead or is it not dead, and should you actually be starting this business model for yourself. So I'm going to be telling you guys straight off the bat that this is not a get rich quick scheme. Also, this is not an easy business to start. There's a lot of complications that are within this business that can make it quite challenging for a lot of different people. Now, a few of those things could be website development, running Facebook ads, or marketing. So there's loads of different things inside of this industry that can be complicated for some people. My journey started back in 2017. Now, prior to 2017, I was in a buying and reselling business where I buy luxury goods and resell them at a profit. Now, I was making some good money at that, but it wasn't a scalable business. I couldn't scale it and make more money, and I couldn't automate it, which means I was working around about 10 to 12 hours every single day, and I was getting absolutely hammered. So what I did is I went onto Google and I searched for online ways to make money, and I came across this article that listed like 20 different business models online, and the one that came out and that stood out quite a lot was dropshipping. And when I read the description of what it entailed, it really did stand out to me, because I thought the lessons that I learned in my buying and reselling business, I can put it in this business. Also, there's some new things that I can learn within this business, and I'm always open to a challenge. Things like creating a website, things like doing Facebook ads, those were the new things that I've never done before that I was excited to try out. Now, something that I do want to mention that's actually quite funny, and a lot of you guys need to hear this, is back in 2017 when I was Googling dropshipping, a lot of people back then were saying dropshipping is dead. And today, people are saying dropshipping is dead. There'll always be this dropshipping is dead malarkey. Even, it doesn't matter when or where, it will always be there. It was there when I first started in 2017, and since then I've been able to achieve multiple 7 figures. So don't let that dropshipping is dead malarkey put you off, because it's been there for a long time. So after spending a few days of doing my research on the business model, I decided to pursue Shopify dropshipping, and I had a budget of around about £2,500 to £3,500, which is around about $4,000 to around about $3,500. So it's an actual very good budget. And now, talking about budget quickly, anybody that tells you you can start dropshipping or Shopify dropshipping with no money is lying to you. You need a decent budget. Now, you can start Shopify dropshipping with a low budget, but in terms of your success rate, it's going to be like that big, like literally not really a good chance of being successful. So you do need a budget, and the budget needed is for things like your website, your apps, your Facebook advertisements, your YouTube advertisements, basically your marketing. Now, the budget that I'd always recommend for anybody is around about $1,500, and that will enable you to be able to build a site, have the apps, and test a couple of products. Now, the more the better, but saying that, I would always recommend somebody not to like quit their job after they made $1,500 and start a Shopify dropshipping business. I'd recommend that you have something that's giving you cash flow every single month, whether it be a job, you be a freelancer, but don't have that mindset of, I've now made $1,000, I've made $500, let me quit my job and let's go all in on Shopify dropshipping and that can make me my money. You need to make sure you've got something what we call a monthly occurring income coming in, whether it be a job or being a freelancer, and you want to have around about $1,000 to $1,500 $500, and you just want to keep topping it up, because you will get through that cash flow quite fast. Now, in terms of having a job or being a freelancer, don't let that put you down. Don't let that make you feel bad. As long as you're making an honest living and you're working hard towards your goals, there is nothing wrong with that. So don't ever let anybody out there say, oh, you work a job, you're less superior than me. I do agree that a job is a short-term solution to a long-term problem, but as long as you're working a job or being a freelancer and putting that money towards something that then can take you to the next level, then massive pat on the back to yourself. So back in 2017, this is how I do my product research, and this is how it looked. I go onto websites like AliExpress, and I'd go to their best-selling products, or I'd go to their newly listed products, and I'd go through them and try and find something that I would like myself. So the reason why I do that is because I thought, well, if I wouldn't buy it, then somebody else wouldn't buy it. Now, there's a bad problem with that, because you can't always look at yourself as the buyer. You've got to look as a general rule of thumb. Although I'm a man, I'm obviously not going to be buying nail varnish or acrylic nails, but somebody else out there might. So you really have to open your mindset. And the biggest mistake that I made in the product research game was I was too narrow-minded to my own beliefs and what I would buy and what I would do with the product. So what I learned from that is, when you're finding products, always do your market research on the product. So if you come across a really cool product and you think, oh wow, it's an amazing product, but it's not for me, but you think it could do really, really well, then do the research on that market. So let's say I'm selling some new acrylic nails. I might want to go onto Google and research the acrylic nail market, like what are the age ranges that buy, what are the best selling countries, what are the average spending power in that market, what needs to be innovated in that market that people are not doing. Those are things that you really need to express on to find out what you can do as a unique selling point to sell the product. Another massive mistake that I'd make back in the day when it came to product research is I'd do everything that everybody else was doing. So I'd go onto those winning product sites and I would copy every single product on there. I would go onto YouTube videos and I would use the same products as everybody else, and that's a massive no. You don't want to be a sheep. You don't want to be following everybody. You want to be unique and you want to be in your own lane. Now, by doing this, I completely failed for the first 6 months. I made a general store, you know, those horrible looking typical general stores back in the day. I'll put it on the screen, and I'd literally have like 600 products on there that were literally all from winning product sites, from the best selling pages, from YouTube, and I just flood them onto my website. And I wouldn't even do any product descriptions. I'll just have the ones that were imported onto the site. I wouldn't even have any professional photos or anything. I'll just have the standard ones, and sometimes I'd only have one photo on my product page. And obviously by doing that, I just wasn't selling anything. I wasn't getting anywhere. I was running Facebook ads as well. Now I'll get onto that a little bit later, but they didn't even work either, because everything was just way too competitive, and I just wasn't very good at selling in terms of my website, my copywriting, my marketing angles. They were completely off. There was just no reason for people to buy from me as a seller. So what I ended up doing after those 6 months of failing is I decided to level up my game and learn copywriting, learn marketing psychology. And that's something that a lot of these guys don't tell you when you start your Shopify dropshipping business. They make it look like it's this piece of paper that is very, very simple, but there's so many diversifications of this industry. You're selling products to consumers. That is all about psychology, but they don't tell you that. They tell you that put this product on your website, run an ad, and then you'll be laughing later. It's just not that simple. There's so much complex into this industry. So when I was leveling up my skills, like my copywriting, my marketing psychology, then I went back to the drawing board and I found a product, and I did my product research a little bit different this time. I went onto AliExpress again and I went through the trending products and I went on the new selling products. And what I did instead is I went to the last page. I started doing reverse psychology, which means doing the opposite of what most people do. So I went on those best selling products, but instead of going to page one, I went on the last page, and then I worked my way backwards, because these products were listed from years and years and years ago, which means people probably ain't using them anymore because they think that they're old and that they're dead. Then I came across a product that I genuinely thought was amazing because I'm a massive tech nerd. Now that product was a privacy screen protector. Now I've actually got it on my phone now, and this phone is completely different to the phone that I was using back in 2017. This is the new 12 Pro Max. Now if you look at the phone screen, you can see it, but if I turn it left or right, you can't see it. it, because that's what they call a privacy screen protector. So after finding the product and feeling absolutely positive about it, I decided to level up again, and instead of just putting that product on my website and running ads and hoping for the best, this time what I did is I actually started to try and look for some of my competitors to see what they were doing, to see what my competition currently is. And I went to Facebook and I searched for the videos out there, and I literally went to the search bar and just searched for the product, and it came across quite a lot of different videos. Now the videos that I did come across, they weren't running anymore. They were posted quite a few months before me finding that product, and I realized that people just don't want to sell it anymore. People are just not interested in it. Now after me seeing that people ain't running that product anymore, it put me back in that old bad mindset of a dropshipper, which is because people are not running it anymore, it must mean that people are not making money. So then I thought, hold on a second, let me level up a little bit and let me think again. And what I decided to do is I decided to really look in every single website, every single ad being ran for it, and I thought to myself, what have they missed out? What are they not capitalized on that I could potentially capitalize on? And that is one of the biggest things that people just don't do at the moment. A lot of people want to sell these hot selling products that you can find out there, but not many people look and think, well, look, what has that person not done that I can do that they've not capitalized on to make more and more money? Now the one that everybody was running for that product was the most obvious one, which is protect your privacy whilst being on public transport. Now that is the most obvious and the most blatant one that people would try, because it's the one that comes to mind straight away. And this is where people go wrong, because the key is to educate your audience, not sell to them. The key is to educate what this product can do for them and not point out what's obvious and try and get them to sell it to them. Now by me saying that, what I did instead was I educated my audience, and I said that the chances of you being spotted on public transport and people looking at your phone is very unlikely, but to make yourself feel comfortable whilst you are being on transport or being around different public groups, you might as well buy it. Now, instead of me just putting out the obvious, which is you want to protect your privacy on your phone whilst being out, I instead educated them and let them know that the chances of you even being spotted on your phone in public and somebody looking at your screen is very unlikely. But to make you feel more comfortable when you're out there, we would recommend getting it just so it can ease your mind. So you can see the massive difference there. Instead of hard selling, I educated and informed them. And when I looked at the actual video that they were running, it was pretty basic. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the video to the next level. So I added in some transitions, some nice music, I added in some nice end and intro screens, and people just weren't doing that back in the day. Now you're probably thinking, but today the videos are way better than they were back in the day, and what you're talking about now just doesn't make any sense, because although you're talking about doing transitions and you're talking about putting music in, that's just the basics in 2021. Yeah, it is the basics in 2021, but there are new things that you can do that people are not doing today, like doing 3D renders, like doing AI technology, like doing fast speed ramping. There's just so many things that people are not doing today that you can do that others ain't willing to do, because it takes more time and it takes more money. People ain't getting the product in-house and recording it. People ain't getting a professional photo shoot done. These are just things that dropshippers are not willing to do because they are lazy. And when you understand that dropshipping is for lazy people, you've got to understand that you want to take it to the next level and not be a lazy dropshipper. And if you do that, that's when you win in this game. And that brings me on to the next thing, which is a psychology barrier that a lot of you guys put in place for yourself, which is finding reasons to justify you not doing things. So like me saying, make your video ads better than the competition, you guys would have thought, oh well, Cam, in today's age, you can't do those because they're the basics. But then I've told you to get ahead of your competition, but are you willing to do that and spend the money? And that's down to you to decide. Now moving on to the next thing, which is the Facebook ads, I decided to look again at my competitors, look at their ad copy and change that and try what we call long ad copies, medium copies and short, because back in the day people would only just do short. I would try all three different ones. Also what I'd do is I'd actually do lots of different testing. So instead of doing what everybody out there would tell me to do in terms of how to set up my ad account, how to set up my ad sets, my campaigns, I would try and do a few different things and try and test lots of new different things out instead of copying what everybody else does. And that's something that just you guys don't do anymore, and that's something that a lot of people don't do anymore, which is they don't want to test because they want to be able to go to somebody and feel like they know what they know, and what they know can give you the results that you need. So you feel like if you don't test outside of that, you're not going to see results, and that puts you in this mindset where you just don't want to get out of it, and you're stuck in this whole follow the sheep instead of you being the person that steps outside of the box and tries something new. Now that takes me to the Facebook ads part of this product. So now I've found the product, now put it on the website, and I've done things differently. I'm back to the Facebook ads now. instead of doing my normal Facebook ad strategy that would fail for the last 6 months, I tried doing something different again. And that is the key. And I hope you guys have followed this so far, which is trying something different that the masses don't do. So before, I would just follow this ad strategy that I found online, which was okay, but it was just very basic and a lot of people were doing it. So what I would do is I would change the budgets. Instead of doing $2 to $3 a day, which you could do back in the day, I tried doing $5 a day. I tried doing $10 per ad set. And I tried doing different things. Instead of doing interest targeting, I tried demographics. So what I would do is I would change my whole strategy from what most people would do, which is what we call the sheeps, and I would try leading it myself. I learned that Facebook loves variation. Facebook hates it when you do things so typical. They like it when you try loads of new things out. And that's something that I learned after trial and error for the last 6 months. So something that you guys need to really write down and think about is when you're doing your Facebook ad strategy, whatever ad strategy you're doing, try doing things very differently. Try split testing things. Try doing things that people don't recommend that you do to see if they do work for you, because everything's different for everybody's ad account or advertisement account or for your product. Now, funny enough, things started going really, really well. After a few days, we started to get some really good sales on the product. It was actually profitable from day one. Now, that's not normal within this industry being profitable from day one, but we were profitable from day one with this product. And over the next few days, the sales just incline and incline and incline, and we were using the same ad account spend, which means that we're making even more money. This Shopify dropshipping actually works after 6 months of failing. And this is the thing that I thought to myself. I didn't say to myself, well, look, Shopify dropshipping doesn't work. I thought to myself, well, look, the way I'm doing Shopify dropshipping doesn't work. And that is the key. And that's something that you guys need to write down. It's not about Shopify dropshipping not work. It's about the way you're doing it. And that is the key. Never blame somebody else or something else. Always be the person to be blamed yourself, and look at yourself as an accountable person. And that's something else that you guys need to be fully aware of. With Shopify dropshipping, your product in terms of their lifespan will only last between a couple of months, and the maximum you'll get out of one product is 12 to 18 months. Now, the 18 months is very, very rare, but that's normally the life cycle of a product within Shopify dropshipping. And that brings me on to the next really important point. When you do make money with a store, don't go out there and buy yourself some expensive designer goods. Keep the profit and reinvest it, because there's been many examples within myself and people that I know where they've had one very successful store, they spend the money, they get excited, they think, oh well, we'll just start a new store and do it again, and guess what, for months they don't get another store that does well, and then they've gone out there and spent loads of money on themselves, and they've got no money to put into the company. And the key here, guys, is any money that you do make, put it in the bank and hold it for reinvestment in a new store or the current store that you've got. Because you just don't know when will be the next time you'll find a successful product. And I tend to say that you're going to be testing between 5 and 10 products till you find one that does well again. Now, sometimes it can be quicker than that, but that's my averages right there. So just bear that in mind. And to bear in mind that you need to be spending around about $300 per product to test them. So if you do the maths, you can work out how much money you need to find a decent product on the averages. Now, for those guys that are asking what were the profit margins with that, it was around about 20 to 23%. Now that's the basic average profit margins in dropshipping. You're looking at between 10 to 30% for those guys that are wondering. And you're probably thinking, well, they're not the best profit margins, but in terms of scalability, they are very, very good. And when it comes to selling the store at the end, you can make even more money. So don't let those profit margins make you think, oh, well, it's not a lot of money. Do bear in mind that those are actually very, very impressive considering the business model that we're in. So here's chapter 2. In 2018, I started a general niche store, and a general niche store basically means a niche, but everything about that niche, so general overall parts of the niche. And what I did is I just basically put loads of different tech products into that store, and I was running multiple ads to multiple products. So instead of running one product at a time, I was running 3 at a time, and I was running ads for each one of those products at a time, because I was looking to basically speed up my process to find the next winning product to then scale it out. And this is something that I'd recommend for a lot of you guys. If you're looking for faster results, then you want to be testing more products at each time. Now, that's only depending on your budget and the amount of time that you've got required. Now, after testing 3 products at a time in that general niche store, then I decided to go all in within the one product because it was showing me the best results, and I put all the cash flow and all the effort within that one product, and we then scaled it aggressively. And when I say scaling it aggressively, I mean about the amount of ad sets that I was doing, about the budget, and the overall everyday running for the product. And that is another big lesson that you need to learn. Once you find something with proof of concept, go all in on it straight away, because you just don't know how long the hype's going to last around the product. You don't know how long it's going to be till other people catch on to your product and try and sell it and make the competition even harder. Now, what we were able to achieve within 2018 with that general niche store was multiple six figures, which was absolutely amazing. And during that time, we had to learn how to do cross-selling, upselling. We had to learn how to increase the product pricing and learn how to lower the advertisement costs to make it an overall more profitable and to be able to generate more revenue. So that's another thing that you guys need to make sure that you learn and you try and teach yourself, which is how do I upsell? How do I cross-sell? How can I increase my product pricing without making the ads get basically destroyed by you changing too many things at one time? And how can I make my ads less expensive but carry on with the same result? And again, that comes back down to testing things out. So when people go to buy your product, have you got an upsell showing that they can upgrade the product or they can add something with it? Do you have a checkout upsell on it? Are you changing the product pricing every 50 orders? What I do it by $2. So if I'm selling something for $34.99, after 50 orders, I'll put it to $37.99, and I'll keep going until I find a barrier of resistance, and then I'll put it back down to what was doing the best before. Now, in terms of how to lower your ad costs, how can I decrease my ad spend by decreasing the ad sets that are working well or lowering the amount that I'm doing and still getting the same results? And again, that comes back down to split test. Now, in 2019, this was the year that did everything for me. This was the year where I was able to achieve 7 figures with one store in a short amount of time. Now, this was in Q4, Black Friday, Christmas. Now, Q4 for e-commerce and majority of businesses out there is the best time to get one going and to make the most money. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I'm just going to start a business during Q4. That's not as simple as that, because you've got to have the skills, you've got to have the knowledge, you've got to know what you're doing during Q4, because during Q4, which is the quarter of the year, which is between October and December, or September to October, those are the easiest days to sell. Those are the easiest months to sell. But I always say during Q4, it's not about getting the sale, it's about making sure the customer's happy. So in terms of the amount of skill that you need during Q4 compared to Q1, Q2, Q3 is a lot higher. The running costs are a lot higher. So don't just watch this video and think, well, I'm going to make a store during October this year and try and make as much money as possible, because it's just not going to work like that. You need to make sure you've got the skills, you've got the knowledge, you've got the proof of concept first before you can do that. So the best time to get started is now, and then wait for Q4, and then when you're in Q4, you can go crazy. Now let me get right back into the story. So in Q4 of 2019, we made another niche store for tech products, and we had all that pixel data. Now pixel data is basically data where you collect people's information, like add to cart, initiate checkout, view content, and you can do lookalike audiences. Because I had that much data in that industry, when I started this new store and I started selling during Q4, things went a bit crazy, because I already had a season pixel. So when I launched new ads, they were cheap and they were very, very scalable and profitable. And because of the Q4 hype, I was able to achieve my first 7 figures, which was a game changer for me. So when I say I've made $1 million, I don't mean that I've personally made $1 million. It means it's revenue, and the profit out of that revenue is around about 18 to 22%. So overall, it's not bad at all. It is very, very life-changing for somebody at my age and where I've come from. So when you achieve those kind of results and you achieve that kind of success, this is what opens the doors up now to bigger and better things. Now, this is the key. Dropshipping is the little bridge to the bigger story. Now, dropshipping is what gets you going. It's what teaches you Facebook ads. It's what teaches you customer psychology. It's what teaches you the fundamentals. Now, this is something that nobody tells you. Dropshipping is by far one of the best industries to learn very, very important fundamentals, like advertising, like customer psychology, like building a website, like doing product descriptions. There's so many fundamentals that you learn within Shopify dropshipping. So let's say you achieve only 10% or 20% of the results that I was able to achieve. Now you're going to be able to have all those skills. And within those skills, it will open the door for you to maybe start a marketing agency, for you to go and get a job at a very good marketing job for a big company, which can land you a 6-figure salary. I don't know what you want to do with those skills, but what I'm trying to say is by doing this industry opens up the doors because of the skills that you acquire, which is just something that nobody thinks about when they start. When people start, they only think about what they're going to get on day one, how much money they're going to make on day one. They don't think of what it's going to do over the long term of your life. So what I decided to do from going from my 7-figure chapter in 2019 is in 2020, I decided to start a YouTube channel which teaches you guys how to do e-commerce and dropshipping. And the reason why I started a YouTube channel is because now I'm in a position where I don't need to worry about money anymore, and I can get on the camera and not worry about, oh, am I making money because I need money? I can just do it for the love of doing it. And within 2020, I was still running my dropshipping stores. I was still running that niche store in the tech industry, and I also started some more stores. And what I also did in 2020 is I did a lot of partnership stores where I collaborate with other people. We go 50-50 or 25-25-25, and we work together on a store. And the reason why I decided to do that instead of running my own stores on my own was because of time efficiency. I can make just about the same amount of money, if not a little bit less, but have a lot more time to myself to do things like YouTube, to go out there and enjoy my life with my partner. Because those first years of doing Shopify dropshipping, I had one of the most boring lifestyles ever. I sat at a desk all day. I didn't go out, I didn't go partying, I didn't go on meals, I didn't do any of that crazy stuff. And that's the next thing that you need to learn. You will have to sacrifice throughout your journey. It's a must. Also, with partnership stores, they're a lot more enjoyable because you're socializing with other people. And when you do stores on your own, you can find them quite boring because it's just you and you only. So even for beginners, if you want to start a store with your friend, you're going to enjoy it a lot more because there's more socialization within that store. But there's also cons that come into doing partnership stores, like you not agreeing on things. So do bear in mind the pros and the cons. But from today and going forward, I'm more highly invested in doing partnerships than I am doing solo stores. Now, Q4 in 2020 was absolutely amazing. We achieved some great results, and I've even made a video of me doing a day in the life on Q4 last year, so I'll leave it here so you guys can watch it at the end of the video. But we didn't do as much as we did in 2019, but it was a lot more funny, it was a lot more sociable, and the profit margins were actually a lot better in that store.
So if we look at this week we've done 34k with the store there. If we look at this month, we've done almost 200k with the store. Again, when today finishes, we'll hit 200k. I'll post again an update. And then with another store, let's get the other store up as well, just to show you. So this other store is at almost 4k today. This week it's done 15k, and this month it's pretty much just hit 100k. So this month, this one's hit 100k as well. So there we go. So overall, I can't be happier than what we've achieved so far.
So that's something else that I do want you guys to bear in mind. You need to get a scale and weigh up what's more important, more money or more time. More time or a lifestyle. You've got to really weigh up these different options, because when you do make money, the options become more widely available, and you need to start working out which ones you prefer. Do you prefer making more money but having less time, or do you prefer the opposite? And these are things you have to really consider. Now let's talk about 2021 and where I am at this current stage and what my plans are going forward. So in 2021, it's all about learning lots of new things for me personally. So things that I'm learning in today that are very important for my dropshipping stores in the future and my e-commerce stores in the future are, number one, the new technologies like AI, which is artificial intelligence, AR, artificial reality. So now you can do these stores where they've got AR technology, and I've also made a video about that, so I'll leave that in the description so you can watch it at the end. And these are things that not dropshippers are willing to do. So as I've been talking about my journey throughout this whole video, I've been talking about being ahead of your competition, and even till today I'm doing the same again. I'm trying to be ahead of my competition one way or another. Some other things that I'm doing, I'm learning TikTok ads to another level. I'm learning from one of the best guys that I know of. I'm also learning my YouTube ads, and I'm doing them. I'm doing things that not many other dropshippers are willing to try and do trial and error with to get to the next level. Because let's be honest, Facebook ads is still amazing. We're still making lots of money with Facebook ads, but there will be a time where there will be a better competitor, whether it be YouTube, whether it be TikTok. There will always be the next best thing. So you need to make sure that you're ready for the next best thing. It doesn't mean that Facebook ads are dead, iOS 14 has killed Facebook. It's still a very good option, but you've always got to be making sure that you've got a plan B, plan C ready just in case. And that's another thing that dropshippers don't do. They've never got a plan B or C ready. They just focus on plan A, and if that goes wrong, they just complain. Something else that I'm really working on a lot this year is our clothing brand, Solartile, me and my friend Jordan Nicklin. It's a clothing brand. It's one of the biggest ones in the UK when it comes to working with some big artists. And it's not a dropshipping store, it's a real e-commerce store with actual products being designed and created by us. And that's one of my next things. And that's something else that I want to talk about. Dropshipping, again, like I said, was the bridge to the bigger picture. Now we're doing our own stores, our own branded stores, our own actual products. And that is where you make the most money in e-commerce, when you've got your own product private label store, whether you've got your own fashion store, that's where the real money is. But you must learn the skills. And again, when I'm running this clothing store, I'm using the Facebook ad strategy that I'd use for my actual dropshipping store. So that's what I'm trying to say. What you learn in dropshipping is so powerful for your future events. So dropshipping from 2017 has now put me in a position where I can really do whatever I want. I really do love investing my money, and I've invested a lot of my money into cryptocurrency. I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for dropshipping. I'm now in a position where I can start SaaS companies, because being a dropshipper, being somebody in e-commerce, I'm always coming across things that I'd love to solve, and I can create a SaaS company to solve those problems. So I'm looking into things that I can make in terms of SaaS. Now, a lot of things that a lot of dropshippers do when they see success is they create a course, a paid course. I'm not about that life, but that's some options that people do, and I personally don't agree with it, but that's my view on it. But that's one of the things that a lot of dropshippers like to do when they're making a little bit of money. If I wanted to now, I could get into being a marketing agency. There's just so many things that dropshipping has done for me that I would have never been able to do if I didn't do dropshipping throughout those few years. I've been able to go onto one of the biggest TV programs in the UK. I've been able to go onto some massive websites like Business Insider. So it's completely reshaped my whole lifestyle. And again, if you only think short term, you'll never get here. I've been working my ass off for 4 years to get here, and I'm only seeing the real crazy results in this year 2021. So do I think dropshipping is a good business model for you to start in 2021 and 2022, or do I think it's going to die out? I think it's still one of the best, if not the best business model for beginners on a good amount of budget, being $1,000 to $1,500, with a good monthly income, being a job or being a freelancer, to start in 2021. Because the skills, the knowledge, what you can do after this is insane, and nothing compares to it. Is dropshipping dead? No, it's not dead. Everybody will tell you it's dead because it's ways to justify why you won't be successful in that. Now, like I said to you guys before, people were saying it back in 2017. People are going to always say it. People will say it in 2024. People will say it in 2025. But what I will say is, do not start Shopify dropshipping if you're lazy, if you like to have excuses, if you like to blame other people, if you're looking to get rich quick, then do not bother with it. If you're not open to new challenges, if you're not open to really diversifying your knowledge, like copywriting, learning how to do advertisement, don't do it, because it's not a simple business model. It's a lot more complex than people lead you on to believe. It's going to take months, maybe years, to learn the ins and the outs of this industry and to get to the next level. But let's say, for example, you're 25, or let's say, for example, you're 45. If it takes you 3 years, let's say you're 45, you're going to be 48, and let's say you'll be able to achieve some life-changing results. Does it really matter? If you're 25, it's going to take you 3 years. You're now 28. Does it really matter if it takes 3 years? Stop thinking so short-minded and start thinking a little bit more long-term. So I hope that's helped you guys understand what it takes to be a successful dropshipper. I hope that's given you some motivation to start a Shopify dropshipping business. I hope it's let you guys know, the ones that were interested but now that's made you think maybe it's not for me, know whether you should start or whether you shouldn't start a dropshipping business. I hope you guys have really enjoyed listening to my journey and what I've had to go through and what I've had to do to get here today. Like I was saying before, the best place to learn Shopify dropshipping for completely free is on my YouTube channel, because I've released a 6-hour free course where I teach you everything that I've been talking about in today that you might have thought, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. I cover it all in the 6-hour free course, and I'll leave it in the cards here and in the description. So guys, I'll catch you very, very soon. I hope this video has been helpful, and let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section below.